Namaskar, I am Suruchi Das and you're watching Ritam. As diplomatic tensions between India and Canada continue to escalate, a dangerous narrative propagated by Sikh-extremist groups within Canada is adding fuel to the fire. These separatist groups, emboldened by years of political backing and unchecked radicalism, have now gone a step further by attempting to pass a motion in Canada's parliament, labeling the 1984 anti-Sikh riots in India as genocide. While the motion failed due to the intervention of Chandra Arya, a Canadian member of parliament and a proud voice for Hindu Canadians, the events surrounding this incident reveal a much deeper and troubling reality. The motion, spearheaded by Sikh separatist factions with strong ties to the Khalistani movement, was not just a bid for recognition, but an overt attempt to further anti-India propaganda on the global stage. These groups have consistently sought to portray India as a violator of minority rights while masking their own agenda of fueling hatred and division. The timing was strategically well aligned with the 40th anniversary of the 1984 riots, as emotions within the Sikh diaspora were being manipulated to gain political mileage. By pushing this motion, these separatist factions sought to force Canada into adopting their divisive agenda, weaponizing multicultural policies and exploiting political weakness within the Trudeau-led government. The Canadian political landscape has at many times indirectly nurtured extremism through its response or lack thereof to the activities of pro-Sikh separatist elements. The recent attacks on Hindu temples and continuous threats to Hindu community in Canada by Sikh separatists and SFJ founder Gurpatwant Singh Pannu are prime examples of how Canada has nurtured Khalistanis. Notably, Nijjar was a close associate of Pannu. Moreover, Arya revealed the threats he faced inside Parliament for taking a stand, underlying the growing audacity of these extremist factions. Arya's stance stems from his understanding of the far-reaching consequences of such motions, which not only risk driving a wedge between Hindu and Sikh communities in Canada, but also threaten to derail Canada-India relations. In Arya's words, labeling the tragic 1984 riots as a genocide is misleading, unjustified, and serves the agenda of anti-India forces. His appeal to Hindu Canadians to engage their MPs reflect the urgency of countering such divisive narratives. Over the years, Sikh separatist elements have gained considerable influence in Canada's political corridors. Originally used as a vote bank by the Trudeau administration and other political entities, these groups have now turned into violent powers, attempting to impose their radical ideologies through political motions, public parades, glorifying terrorists, and divisive propaganda. Apart from this, India had long warned Canada about the consequences of using these extremist elements. However, the Canadian government under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau chose to ignore the warnings in favor of short-term political gains. Today, Canada grapples with fallout as radical groups not only push anti-India agendas but also affect Canada's indigenous and minority communities. The separatist influence is now being felt beyond diplomatic ties, impacting Canada's own social harmony and national security. Indigenous Canadian communities and other minorities now find themselves caught in the crossfire as these groups increasingly prioritize their agenda over national unity. Even the Ministry of External Affairs has repeatedly urged Canada to honor its responsibilities as a global player and prevent its soil from being misused for anti-India propaganda. The Canadian government's failure to act decisively against such elements has not only alienated India, but also weakened its own credibility on the global stage. Moving forward, it is imperative for Canada to distance itself from extremist groups and reinforce its commitment to fostering unity. It's time for them to rethink its priorities and take a firm stance against extremism before it's too late. Jai Hind.